Most sleep teas do not work, and 3 of them do. The reason is one number. In 2011, researchers at the University of Michigan ran a randomized placebo-controlled trial on patients with chronic primary insomnia. They gave them 540 milligrams of standardized chamomile extract every day for 28 days, and they published the result in the medical journal BMC, Complementary and Alternative Medicine. The result did not reach statistical significance on the sleep diary measurements. A standard chamomile tea bag, brewed normally, delivers somewhere between 1 and 4 milligrams of apigenin per cup. That is the gap. That is the receipt of this entire video. The herb is real. The dose is not. Here is what we are going to do. We are going to rank 8 of the most popular sleep teas on the market, from worst to best on a single clinical question: is the active compound present at the dose the studies actually used? 5 of them fail, 3 of them pass, and one of them, the one that passes most cleanly, is a tea that almost nobody walks into the sleep aisle to buy because the box does not say the word sleep anywhere on it. It is sitting one shelf over in the calming section, and it has stronger evidence in its actual tea form than most of the things sold specifically for sleep. I will tell you what it is at the end. A quick piece of context for why this matters. The global herbal sleep tea category was worth roughly $422 million in 2024, and it is projected to nearly double by 2033. Most of that money is hot water with a sleepy brand name on the box. Let me show you how that happened. Step into the tea aisle of any grocery store in the country and you will see the same architecture: watercolor flowers on the box, a sleeping bear, a moonlit cottage, a cup with steam curling out of it, words like relax, unwind, wind down, gentle, restful. Sleep tea is one of the most aesthetically coherent product categories in modern wellness. It looks like a hug. Celestial Seasonings launched Sleepy Time in 1972, and over half a century later, it is still the cultural anchor of the entire category. The bear and the nightcap, the blend of chamomile and spearmint and lemongrass, the implication of grandma's kitchen. Yogi Bedtime came next, with its Ayurvedic-inflected blend of passion flower, valerian, and chamomile, wrapped in a deep blue box. Traditional medicinals went further upscale, with the herbalist-formulated Nighty Night line, the slow steep instructions, the cleaner label. Pukka Herbs brought the British wellness aesthetic across the Atlantic with Nighttime. Tazo, Bigelow, the Republic of Tea, every major beverage brand on the shelf has a sleep blend, and most of them are marketed first and foremost to women. The targeting is not subtle. Wellness aesthetics, self-care framing, ritual language. Almost none of these brands run advertising aimed at men. The cup of sleep tea on the nightstand is one of the most photographed images in the entire women's wellness internet. Here is where the story gets uncomfortable, because I do not want to talk down to anyone who has been drinking this tea for 10 years. The instinct that drove women into this category was correct. Mainstream sleep aids over the last 20 years have been a disaster. Over-the-counter products that build tolerance, prescription medications with dependence problems, melatonin gummies dosed at 5 and 10 times what the research actually supports. Going back to the herb was a reasonable response. The category did not invent the trust, it exploited it. Here is the loophole the entire shelf runs on. In the United States, herbal teas are classified by the Food and Drug Administration as conventional food, not as dietary supplements and not as drugs. That classification has a specific consequence. The packaging cannot legally make a sleep claim. It cannot say reduces sleep latency. It cannot say treats insomnia. What it can do is imply the claim through the brand name, through the imagery, through the ingredient listing, and through carefully phrased copy like a blend of herbs to help you relax. That is not a health claim under the regulation. That is product positioning. And because it is not a health claim, there is no requirement to disclose how much of the active herb is actually in the bag, no requirement to disclose whether the brewing process extracts it, and no requirement to compare what you are drinking to anything that was ever tested in a clinical trial. The dose required to produce the effect the packaging implies is not the dose in the cup. The regulation is not required to tell you that. The next question is how big that gap actually is. Start with chamomile, because chamomile is the most consumed sleep tea in the world. The active compound is apigenin, a flavonoid that binds at the benzodiazepine site of the GABA receptor, the same site that anti-anxiety medications target, modulated more gently by the plant compound. The University of Michigan trial from 2011, led by Susanna Zick, used 540 milligrams of standardized chamomile extract per day. That dose delivers roughly 5 milligrams of apigenin twice daily. It is the largest, cleanest insomnia-specific chamomile trial in the literature. It did not reach statistical significance on sleep diary outcomes. A 2024 systematic review and meta-analysis in the journal Complementary Therapies in Medicine, led by Asma Kazemi, pooled 12 trials and found modest improvements in subjective sleep quality almost entirely from chamomile extract studies, not from tea bag studies. A standard tea bag delivers somewhere between 1 and 4 milligrams of apigenin per cup. To approach the 50 milligram apigenin dose that supplement companies now sell as capsules, you would need to drink between 10 and 15 cups per night. That is the chamomile receipt. Now valerian. The 2020 systematic review and meta-analysis by Noriko Shinjo, published in the Journal of Evidence-Based Integrative Medicine, pulled together 60 trials covering almost 7,000 patients. The finding that matters is this: whole root valerian at 450 to 1,410 milligrams per day, taken for 4 to 8 weeks, consistently improved subjective sleep quality. Standardized extracts at 300 to 600 milligrams showed inconsistent results across studies. So valerian has a real evidence base, but the dose has to be high and the use has to be sustained. Now go look at what is in your tea bag. Celestial Seasoning Sleepy Time Extra discloses about 25 milligrams of valerian per bag in a proprietary blend. Yogi Bedtime contains roughly 26 milligrams of a 4-to-1 valerian extract, which is equivalent to about 104 milligrams of whole root. Both of those are well below the threshold that produced the consistent effect in the Shinjo meta-analysis. The dose in the tea bag is not the dose in the trial. There is one exception, and we will get to it. I want to come back to the regulatory frame for a second. Herbal teas are not required to disclose milligram amounts of active herbs. They are not required to standardize for active compound content. They are not required to demonstrate that the brewing process extracts what is on the label. Brewing. Temperature actually matters here. Water above 95 degrees Celsius degrades valerian's active compounds by roughly 15%, which means a tea brewed too hot loses what little active herb the bag contained in the first place. The dose in the clinical trial and the dose in the cup are not the same number. The packaging is not required to tell you that, and most of the time, the manufacturer does not even know. So, the only honest way to look at this category is to apply the filter directly. Let me rank them. Number 8, the worst. Lavender tea taken orally, and this includes Sleepy Time, lavender, and most single-ingredient lavender teas. The 2018 systematic review by Meredith McNellis is unambiguous. lavender aromatherapy improves sleep. Lavender tea does not. The silexan capsule, which is concentrated lavender essential oil at 80 milligrams orally, has real evidence. The cup of dried lavender flower does not. The dose required to produce a measurable effect is not the dose you can deliver in hot water. Pure marketing. Number 7. The generic sleep blend tier. Pukka, nighttime. Tazodream, sleepy time. Vanilla, sleepy time. Honey, yogi, soothing, caramel. Bedtime. The entire flavor variant universe. Token amounts of multiple herbs combined with rooibos, cinnamon, rosebuds, tilia, hawthorn. Not a single active herb in any of these is present at a dose the literature has validated. The cozy is real. The pharmacology is not. Number 6. Celestial Seasoning Sleepy Time. Classic, the original. In market since 1972. The label lists chamomile, spearmint, lemongrass, tilia, blackberry leaves, hawthorn, rosebuds. The product does not disclose chamomile milligrams. There is no dose claim because there is no dose to claim. It is a beautifully blended cup of warm, calming herbs that started the entire category. It is also pharmacologically inert at the level the evidence requires. Number 5. Standard single-ingredient chamomile tea, the most consumed sleep tea on the planet, roughly 1 to 4 milligrams of apigenin per cup. The Zik trial dosed 5 times that as an extract and still failed statistical significance for insomnia. The gap between the cup and the trial is the receipt of the entire video. Number 4. The Valerian Blend Tier Yogi Bedtime and Celestial Sleepy Time Extra. Both of these are in the right zip code conceptually, but the disclosed valerian content lands around 25 to 30 milligrams. The Shinjo meta-analysis required 10 to 50 times that for a consistent effect. Big names, small numbers. Number 3, and we are now into the teas that pass. Lemon balm tea, single ingredient, brewed strong. The clinical evidence base uses standardized extract at 500 to 600 milligrams per day, primarily through the Syracuse protocol from 2011. A loose leaf brew or premium single herb bag at 1.5 to 2 grams, steeped for 10 minutes, delivers rosmarinic acid in the lower end of the studied range. The mechanism is inhibition of GABA transaminase by rosmarinic acid, which keeps GABA active in the synapse longer. Partial evidence, real mechanism, defensible. Number 2, Traditional Medicinals Nighty Night Extra with Valerian. This is the rare commercial tea bag that discloses milligram amounts on the label, and the numbers actually mean something. 450 milligrams of valerian root, 300 milligrams of passion flower, 300 milligrams of lemon balm leaf, brewed covered for 10 to 15 minutes per the label. That valerian dose lands at the lower edge of the Shinjo whole root effective range. The brewing instructions on the box are the brewing instructions the trials used. And number 1, the tea with the cleanest evidence in the entire category, the only one with a peer-reviewed clinical trial done on the actual tea bag and not the extract, is also the one almost nobody walks into the sleep aisle to buy, because the box is not in the sleep aisle. Let me show you what it is. The tea with the strongest direct evidence in the entire herbal sleep category is passion flower. Single ingredient passion flower tea. Sold by Buddha Teas, Alvita, Frontier Co-op, and Traditional Medicinals as a standalone product, almost always positioned as a calming or tension relief tea, not as a sleep tea. In 2011, Anna Ngan and Russell Conduit at Monash University in Australia ran a double-blind, placebo-controlled crossover trial on 41 healthy adults with mild fluctuations in sleep quality. They published it in the journal Phytotherapy Research. Each participant drank 1 cup of passion flower tea per night for 1 week, then crossed over to a placebo tea for another week with a washout period in between. The protocol was rigorous: sleep diaries every night, the Spielberger State Trait Anxiety Inventory, and polysomnography validation in a subset of participants. The result was a statistically significant improvement in subjective sleep quality on passion flower compared to placebo. That is the only herbal sleep tea in the published literature with a peer-reviewed randomized controlled trial done on the actual tea bag, not on a concentrated extract, not on a capsule, not on a tincture. On the cup itself, at the dose the cup delivers. It is the cleanest tea form result in the category. The mechanism is well characterized. Passion flower contains flavonoids, primarily chrysin and apigenin glycosides, that bind at the benzodiazepine site of the GABA-A receptor. The same site benzodiazepine medications target, modulated more gently by plant compounds. So here is the irony that completes the thumbnail. The products marketed specifically as sleep teas, the bears, the moons, the cottages, the watercolor flowers, the entire visual language of sleep tea, are largely hot placebo. The product with the cleanest evidence is sitting 1 shelf over in a smaller box, marketed for anxiety and nervous tension, because that is what passion flower has traditionally been used for in Western herbalism, and that is the lane the marketing department stayed in. The strongest evidence in herbal sleep tea is on a product the herbal sleep tea aisle does not stock. Most women walking into a wellness store at 9 in the evening looking for something to help them sleep walk right past it. That is what the thumbnail means. The category that calls itself sleep is mostly the placebo. The thing with the trial behind it does not have the word sleep on the box. So let us come back to the receipt we opened with. 540 milligrams of standardized chamomile extract, 28 days of dosing, not statistically significant on the sleep measurements, 1 to 4 milligrams of apigenin in a tea bag. The gap is what the entire category is built on. The answer to that gap is not despair. It is a short list. The 3 teas that pass the dose filter in increasing order of evidence strength are these: lemon balm tea, single ingredient, 1.5 to 2 grams of dried leaf, steeped covered for 10 minutes. Mechanism: inhibition of GABA transaminase by rosmarinic acid, which is what keeps GABA in the synapse longer and produces a mild calming effect. The dose is real, the mechanism is real, the evidence is partial but defensible. Traditional medicinals: Nighty-Night Extra, with valerian brewed covered for 10 to 15 minutes exactly as the label instructs. The valerian dose at 450 milligrams hits the lower end of the Shingio whole root effective range, and the brewing instruction is the instruction the trials used. Mechanism: modulation of GABA-A receptors by valerianic acid and related sesquiterpenes. And passion flower tea, single ingredient, 1 bag or 1 to 2 grams of loose dried herb, steeped covered for 10 minutes, taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed. This is the one with the peer-reviewed clinical trial done on the actual cup. Mechanism: benzodiazepine site GABA-A modulation. If you are going to buy 1 sleep tea on the back of this video, this is the one to find. It will probably not be in the sleep section. I want to close on something honest. I am not asking you to stop drinking your tea. The ritual matters, the warmth matters, the slowing down at the end of the day matters. Some of what works about a cup of sleep tea is the cup itself, the pause, the cooling palms around the ceramic, the signal to your nervous system that the day is over. That part is yours. It does not need a clinical trial. What I am asking is that from now on, when you reach for a sleep tea on the shelf, you ask one question: what is the dose and where is the trial? If the box cannot tell you the box is hot placebo, if it can, you have something to work with. The herb is real. The dose is the difference.